Hey, it's Scotch Test Dummies. I'm Scott.
I'm Bart.
Ironroot, they need a little love.
Woo! Ironroot Icarus, baby. They won't get some love because we're going to test it.
Good old Texas whiskey style.
Woo! Some Texas heat, baby. Here we come.
All right, we met the Ironroot family.
Yes, it is a family. It's darn near a cartel.
Early 2018, 2017, 2018.
Nancy the Nose. We met her there too.
Yeah. But
Nancy Fraley.
Northern Texas,
Yes.
up north of Dallas in Denison, is Ironroot Republic
Love it.
Distillery.
Love it.
I think they started with a corn whiskey.
Yes.
Which is what this is. This is a corn whiskey. They do bourbons
Yes.
as well.
Right.
I don't think they've released a single malt yet or a wheated whiskey.
Okay.
They've distilled some, I believe, but they're aging or they use it, in their married, get that barrel, grab that barrel, do that barrel.
They're barrel masters.
Icarus is a corn whiskey finished or aged in peated Scotch barrels. So now we've had a version or two of this.
Right.
They're different batches.
Right. We've sampled from the barrel.
This one is edition 23.
Ooh,
It's 50 months old, so 4 years, 2 months.
glad you could do the math.
100% corn whiskey. Finished for an additional year in port barrels and peated single malt barrels. I forgot about the port.
Yes, the big old port barrel.
Port and
Yeah, they've got this giant port barrel there.
They probably have more than one now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
58.3% ABV. They do a couple of offerings that are lower ABVs, like 46, 48.
Okay.
Majority, I think, of what they're doing is cask strength. They're up in the 50s.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
It's real good. We're fans.
In fact, as I picked this one's been sitting on the shelf to review for a while. I picked that up last time I was down there, which was
Nice.
a while ago.
I had to do a 1 degree shift.
I did the presidential whisper
Oh, yeah.
a while ago.
A while ago. Shh. All right, what do you got? What do you got on the nose?
Corn.
Oh, is that a grunt style? Oh, yes, it is. Ooh. Yeah, no, Rebel Scum. I got a lobster, and it's shiny.
We had to reshoot the intro. Bart was,
Yeah, I was looking at myself, and I was touching the lobster.
he was like, start over.
That sounded terrible. Touching the lobster.
And by touching the lobster, I mean,
I mean my shirt. What you got? What you got?
that remind me of the story of that at the end, I'll tell.
Okay.
There was a news,
Oh,
it wasn't news. It was on a website.
okay. I get a little touch of like old wood. Is that a little bit of cherry in there?
Sweetness. Yeah, there's a definite rich sweetness with it.
And maybe a little bit of powdered cocoa or cocoa, as I like to say.
Now, I would say additions we've had in the past, the peat influence is really lighter.
It is.
These barrels, it's just barrels that had peated whiskey in them at one
Right.
time, so it's soaked into the wood. So you add whiskey back in there and it draws some of that out into it. Sometimes the influence is greater than others. It kind of depends on the cask, how many times it's been used, blah, blah, blah.
Everything you get from them is very unique. Yeah, because the corn shines through mid palate. I'm gonna have to come back to the open.
I got peat on the open,
Really?
not strong. Yes, right there on the finish too.
Oh,
It's lighter. This is A little bit stronger than like Highland Park style peats, a little bit more, but it's faint. It's in there.
This is where I've destroyed my subtle peat palette.
Wow,
'cause I
there
didn't
was
get
the
any
port.
peat at all.
And there was the port.
Really?
Wow, berries. Yeah,
Got
raspberries.
some berries.
Sweet. Ooh. That was,
Look at you. You got like, woo.
I know that was, I don't know if I've ever had that distinction. It's like you're talking about the corn whiskey, then you're getting the peat, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's the port.
I'm going to have to go back because I've got corn in the finish. Popcorn, buttered popcorn finish. Still lingering. I cannot get any of the peats that you got, but that's probably because I'm a peat head and my peat palate's blown permanently. I don't get subtleties, I think, in peat.
This is really, I mean, it's one of those, it's great up front, it's great through the mid, great in the finish.
I got a little bit on the, I held it for a little longer.
Yeah.
And I did get a little bit of peat.
Yeah. It's in there. It's faint. It's not strong. It's not in your face. It's one of those where you're like, oh, there's a nice influence.
I got another little hint there on the finish. It's like it almost like escapes right as you notice it, though. It's like the second you're like, oh, and then it's like, let's go. Yeah, now it's back to corn. Because there's the corn in the long finish again. That's funny because I'm used to peat being the thing that lingers and hangs, but the peat just flashes.
A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of cinnamon.
Now, what is the port flavor you're getting? Because maybe
That was the
if you-
berries, those raspberries and stuff
Okay.
that I got in there. That was like, ooh, berry. Malt, not malty. That's the peaty, that light peatiness. Somebody like this, there's a slight maltiness. No, it's a slight peatiness. Vice versa.
Man. Does I get a little bit of like old wood maybe as well? I don't even know what that means.
So Ironroot, one thing we didn't talk about too, they source the best corns and the different colors of corns.
Right.
White corn, yellow corn, purple corn, bloody butcher corn.
Bloody Butcher.
The red corn was
Yeah.
my favorite.
He tried the pure
bloody butcher.
Bloody Butcher barrel and was like,
Ooh,
I
Yeah.
want more of this.
yeah.
We even said you could probably do a Bloody
Well-
Butcher bottle.
But see, then I found out, yeah, it's really, I think even the bloody butcher barrel, still only a portion of that was bloody butcher corn.
Okay.
In the
It wasn't
mash
like
bill.
100%
Right.
Bloody Butcher.
Right. It's just like 13%.
You
of it.
loved
It's
it,
like,
though.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely.
They could
Well,
make like a Halloween
and
themed bottle. You
when
know,
we-
with like a bloody
Yeah.
axe, Bloody Butcher.
when we were down at the Whiskey Tribes, the Bastards Ball.
Yes.
Probably 3 years
The
ago.
very first, not the
no,
first one
no,
where we tried their juice.
3 years ago when they had several YouTube channels come in and we met
remember
at the
that.
Salt Lick and Ironroot come down and we did a barrel pick or kind of a blend pick
Right.
with them.
Yes.
And blind, they gave us samples and the consensus was the majority of the people there was a couple that didn't, but say 8 out of 10 chose the Bloody Butcher mash bill. It's really brings some nice characteristics to
It does.
yeah. But they could go to the, whatever corn producer and buy corn for 89 cents a pound or a bushel, whatever the
Sure.
ratio is.
Right.
They're buying stuff like the Mexican Oaxacan corn is like $50 or something like that a bushel. And they're doing some stuff with that, but then even like the other corns that they use it's not the 89-cent corn. Most of them are like $4 to $5 range, I want to say, or depending on which ones they're buying, but
Got it.
they're buying better corns to do their whiskey with.
You're saying they're not getting a 72-cent corn bushel from Russia, where you think corn comes from. That's one thing we learned is that sometimes on the big market, there's these purchases of like by the ton. And some people don't care where they get. It's just where can I get the cheapest
Right.
price?
Yeah.
But they're looking for particular like heirloom corns.
Yeah.
So that was good. There's a lot of different flavors in here. This feels extremely unique. I don't think I could peg this. I wouldn't peg it as just corn whiskey either. It's this like special, unique, it feels like some kind of one-off. We always tell people, first of all, if you go to total stores, I know they're not in every state, but you can find Ironroot in total stores. I want to say there's like 32 states that have total. a big warehouse liquor store. Or you've got to go
Wow. Ooh.
to Texas and get it. What?
Getting better with water.
Really?
It really,
Did
man,
you put a
everything.
drop in there?
Yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention.
Really, everything expanded. Wow, a little bit more peppery kind of spiciness on it. But all those flavors really kind of expanding and pushing out of the envelope per se, busting out at the seams.
You're right. Wow. See, that's why you want to sample water. And I would agree with your first statement that on the flash open, it was way more peppery. It gave me that cracked white pepper kind of like,
I would have just said black peppercorn, but white pepper I could see. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're good friends with the licorices.
We are. So take that into account.
Well, yeah, but we also buy.
I don't care.
Every bottle we've had or looked at or reviewed with them, we've bought.
Right. Yes.
We've never let them give us anything. We've always paid for it.
Right. Even I went there, we were on like a trip through Texas.
You and the wife.
Yes. And we even went in and my wife Liz got to sample from the barrels, but I bought several bottles from them while I was there because they had very good stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, trying to be unbiased outside of that, they're good people, great distillery. It's great whiskey.
Marsha.
My score is ready. This was.
So again, yeah, we'll say it all day long. We love the Licorice family and what they're doing, but that doesn't mean we won't give it an honest score either. I'm between an 89 and 90. I'll push it to 90 just because it's so unique and different. So unique and different. I'm not picking up all the peat I would like. You've got a better subtle peat palate than I do, but I love the fact that it changed. I think I like it neat better. The pepper was almost a little too strong for me. I like some of the subtleties neat, if you can believe that. You won't believe this is 100% corn, or you'll think, what is 100% corn? This is way more unique, although I think the 100% corn makes it even more unique. Your score? I'm at 90.
92. 2-point spread kicks in here. This one has breached.
Very good.
90 is my really good whiskey mark. This is really good, plus a couple points. Great job. It's got the depth. It's got the character. I mean, it's got the differences in there, the flashes of the peat, the flashes of the berries.
Taste profile. I love when a whiskey pops through.
Yeah.
And
when they tell you it's peated and port finished, and then you can get those two casks,
right,
the differences.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you almost don't know what you're getting ready to do when you have a straight corn whiskey because you're like, what's that going to be? Just, is it going to be popcorn? Nope. This is tons of different stuff. But at 58.3%, holy moly.
Yeah.
What you looking at?
I was just looking at what it said there at the bottom underneath the straight corn whiskey, but it's just what it said on the back.
Yeah, finished in port and peated single malt barrels.
Yep.
So, all right. But
they did switch. At first, it was the Licorice Brothers, which is Robert and Jonathan.
Yes.
And it's now Licorice Family, though. They went with that because they're all involved.
Right.
And for the longest time, there was literally 5. I think they've got a few more employees now. For the longest time, it was 5 of them. It was Jonathan, Robert, John, Marcia, and Ashley.
See, yes. Okay.
And it was those 5 that they were distilling, they were casking, they were bottling, putting the labels on the bottles.
Yeah, Jonathan looked stressed.
Everything.
I'd come in and Jonathan's just like wiping his brow. And I'm like, Jonathan's working hard.
But no, they've got a few more employees now, and well worth it because they've won just about every award.
Yeah,
out there.
2020, I think they got the best bourbon.
Yeah,
if I remember.
But up through even this year, they're getting World Whiskey Awards and everything. They're going over to London to accept them. They're doing some good stuff. If you haven't tried Ironroot, now the problem is with Ironroot. Is they cannot produce enough whiskey to keep up with demand.
So what did they do to help out with demand?
Well, so they created the Saint's
Alley.
Saint's Alley.
Right.
Yeah.
They
which is they bought some MGP juice and they're blending it with their own stuff to kind of
Right.
keep some of those sales going and
In
get their stuff out there.
partnership with, I always want to say his web name rather than his real name.
The Liquor Hound.
There you go.
Yep, Chris.
Yep. See, I always just say, when I see him, I think Liquor Hound, and then I'm embarrassed because I can't remember Chris. And you can't go like, Hound, roo, roo, and then he's looking at you weird because he's actually a quiet, really effective guy. And then you got me, and I'm like, roo, roo, and he's like, who's this nut job wearing a manga shirt?
Yeah.
And then I can't remember Chris. What?
Well, I can remember just the kind of that reference. Now, and Chris isn't like a female or a girl, but when my boys were little, we were over at friends' house and they had girls.
Yes.
And my boys were
Always rough and tumble.
running,
Right.
screaming, playing, and the girls were just like,
Like, whoa, these guys are
what
off the hook.
what is
Off the hook.
going
Right.
on?
So what you're doing is you're
That's kind
bringing
of like
me.
Liquor Hound to
Yes,
use. Liquor
yeah.
Hound's like,
Yeah, and I'm always like, Hound, what can I do with that? I'm gonna bark at him. Hoo, hoo. And he's looking at me like, scary.
real quick, we've probably gone long enough. At first, I
love it.
said,
People
you
love
said,
that.
you said you were touching the lobster, and I said by touching the lobster, you mean you were. There's this old show,
Yes.
Captain Hammer.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. That was
Nathan Fillion.
right, but it was also, oh my gosh, how can I forget his name? He did he really brought together the Avengers.
Josh Whedon.
Whedon. Yeah, Whedon, there was a writer's strike, and for fun, they came together and filmed
Make this
little
quick.
deal.
Come on,
Sorry, that's it.
speed this up.
That's it. You go. I didn't know I was under pressure.
Well, I think we've
Right,
gone long
but he
enough.
played Captain Hammer.
Captain Hammer.
Yeah, and it was Mr. Obvious, basically. He's
Yeah,
like,
but
if I see her again, I'll give her the hammer.
I'm going to give her, and by hammer, I mean my.
Penis. He's like,
So
yeah, we
you
knew
said
what
you were
meant.
touching the lobster. I mean,
Yes.
by touching the lobster, you mean you're touching. Anyway, on a website, Nathan Fillion was on the flight, probably flying first class.
With you?
No, no, it's a news. I told you it's from a website. It was a news story.
Wasn't paying attention.
As they're deboarding at the end of the flight or whatever, a female walks by and she just hands him a little note. And so she hands him a little note and he looks at it and it just says, I recognized you. I didn't want to disturb you during the flight, but I loved you as Captain Hammer.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Scotch it. You Scotch guys.
Cilantro. Hammers.
Dummies.
Touch it.
Touch it.